Yes, people, and welcome back to another video on the Bridge YouTube channel where we bring you all things Chelsea. I'm your host, the most of Bridge 258, here today to give you the latest Chelsea transfer news. Here we go. Now, before we start, I want to give a quick apology to everyone. Sadly, I was not able to do the review due to some family stuff that I was doing and everything like that. So I don't really have enough time over the weekend, I'm afraid, to be able to give you that review for the Chelsea game. So apologies there first and foremost. But listen, I'll make sure to resume normal schedule as usual. But hey, let's get back into the video. So let's talk about some of the Chelsea transfer needs, and I want to start with a big one, and that is that according to Nathan Gislin, that Chelsea have Duran, John Duran, sorry, not Alex Duran, John Duran, who is the Aston Villa backup striker currently, I think around about 20 years old if I'm not mistaken, and yeah, apparently that's the guy that we're currently looking at that's on the list of strikers that we may be bringing in January to be a quick fix. Now, I don't really think a 20-year-old is a quick fix necessarily, but again, it does fit into the current, school of thought that the club is trying to do of buying these under 25-year-olds who are up and comers, who have this high potential, which can be or possibly be reached. So again, it does make sense, in that sense of like at least the scouting department and the stuff they're trying to do. Now, whether or not it will be a quick automatic hit, I think is very unlikely in the current form. While we don't, from what I've seen from him, I'm quite unsure if whether or not it will bang or not. But the fact that he's on the list means to me there's probably other guys that they're already looking at to bring in, possibly to be, in that, area, in that sort of list of strikers. And that's why I've said to you guys previously that I think Sesko might be coming in January. If they're already looking at Duran, if for me, more than likely, hints to me that Sesko is the one they're going to be bringing in. And again, this makes me question, the future of a guy like Armando Broja. Because if they still believe Jackson is the number one and Pochettino believes that, and they're bringing this guy to be the backup to maybe help to compete alongside Jackson once he comes back from AFCON, then, are we saying that Broja is not good enough, not got the skills, the abilities to do so? Are you guys just not happy with the fact that, he may not be able to, he may not have been able to recover as good enough as, possibly he could, obviously from his ACL injury back in December of last year. So again, there's other factors there to consider, of course, but that is clearly an aspect that they may be possibly looking at when it comes to the striker situation. Obviously, we know that the Osimhen is the number one target, and they may possibly be looking to make a pre-agreed deal with Napoli in the summer for his release clause of around about 120 million euros as well. So again, that's another thing to consider, as I always say. So it is what it is. We'll see what happens with that one. He's on the list. It doesn't mean that we're going to actually go and target the player at the end of the day. So again, one to watch, one to have a look at. Again, I wouldn't be surprised if this week is the week we see some Chelsea incomings happening in the transfer window anyways. Because we've got our winter break essentially now, where the players are getting to relax and have a rest before they come back again the week after on the 23rd for the Middlesbrough game at home. Now, let's move on to continue on to the striker situation. And Matt Law reports that there could be a possibility that Chelsea may look at both either Benzema or, of course, Firmino, who's at Al-Intifaq, if I'm not mistaken, or Al-Intihad, stuff like that. He's one of those teams. But at the end of the day, they may possibly be looking at both Benzema and him. Now, for me, again, there is an actual issue, in my opinion, of this one. Because the problem is, yes, they may be playing Saudi League. They've been playing in a league which is obviously may not be at their current level, may not be at their current skill set. But at the same time, they've not been playing that much either. So, you're almost in a similar situation to maybe what you could say of the Ivan Toney situation, where these guys have the talent, but they're valuing playing that much. They're playing at a high level. What's to say they can't, these guys 36, 32 or 33, 34 respectively, what's to say they can, come back and re-gear themselves up, for 6 months to play in a very high competition such as the Premier League. Again, those are things you have to consider when, when people say, let's get Benzema, let's get Firmino for 6 months. I'm saying to you, these guys, even though it's a loan, we don't know if these guys are going to be able to come back to that level for 6 months and play good for us too. So, again, that's something else that I feel like people seem to, forego and forget completely. We can't forgo and forget that one, in particular, in my personal opinion. So, again, things to think about, things to understand, things to have second thoughts about. But for me, Benzema and Firmino right now in their current forms, no, I would not take them. You know, that might be a hot take from the channel, but no, I would not be taking Benzema and Firmino purely not because of the talent and the stuff that they have. But I don't know, yeah, I don't know, if we bring them now, they're going to be able to reacclimatize to that high level of football that we need them to be able to do so. And B, there's the other thing of like, you need to embed these guys straight away. I don't think in this current situation, this current form of the squad that we have, with the manager we have, that we can do that too. So that's also another factor to consider as well. So again, there's like quite a few things there where we need to think about, need to analyze, need to understand. And I'm not sure bringing in a Benzema and a Firmino is going to be, you know, the quick hot fix solution, because right now that's not the issue. Right now at Chelsea is not that. Again, as I said to you guys before, issue at Chelsea is really a tactical issue, a thing issue, and you know, the problem that we also have, as I said to you previously, barring the tactical issue, is that we are a team which is not able to constantly create, which is an issue again, which I've spoken about previously. We can create one or two chances, but we're not creating a consistent amount of chances. We're not free flowing the amount of chances that we need to do to create, to be able to do what we need to do for the team. So there's that to consider as well. Now I want to move on to the next topic, which is on my guy Ian Maatsen. Now both Fabrizio and Matt Law have reported that Ian Maatsen has a 35 million release clause. It's also confirmed that he's extending his contract till 2027. So that means at the end of this season, you'll have 2 years left on his contract. So 3 years left on his contract, pretty much, because it'll be 2.5 years. He's got a 35 million pound release clause as well, which is great. So I'm telling you, I told people before, people were thinking they could only get 25 million for him, but I knew when Burnley were offering 31.5 million obligation amount of money for him, that you could probably get that certain amount of fee, and Chelsea are looking for that. Again, it's the same with Conor Gallagher. You know, Everton set the market value for him when they said that they would pay around about 45 M's for him too. So at the end of the day, man, you don't hate the player, hate the game. You know what I mean? Don't hate the player, hate the game. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. At the end of the day, we move on that one still. But I don't want to sell him. It's a good thing that he's got a release clause, because that just means, you know, Chelsea, while they may be obliged, is up to the player, and it also provides Chelsea a chance that, let's say if Pochettino does leave the club and another manager comes in and is a really big fan of Maatsen, you've got 2.5 years left on the deal. You can have a conversation with that manager and you can convince him to stay. And actually, even though yes, they may activate the release clause, the player can say no to the club too. So again, good smart thinking there by the football club, in my personal opinion, with the Ian Maatsen deal. Now, let's move on to the next topic, which is on Mauricio Pochettino himself, and this will be the last topic that I will be speaking on. Now, apparently his job is safe, even if he does lose to Middlesbrough. Apparently, one of the targets that apparently he was given is to reduce the gap to 5th place, according to Jacob's bed, if I'm not mistaken. And if that is the case, he's pretty much done it now, because with a game in hand, we're only 3 points behind them now. And that game in hand could arguably just be against us, which if we beat them, it's still going to be 3 points behind them. So, and this is where, you know, I've spoken to many you guys before on my channel and on other channels before, such as Casual FC, which you see me on from time to time, where I've spoken about the fact that even though we as a club have been really bad this season, the other clubs around us have been playing quite as bad, and it's allowing Pochettino to continue to stay in his job and allow it to be tenable, because the teams around us have been terrible. You know, I've said this to you guys before, the top 6 in general has not been great, barring Man City, who are only like 2 points worse off. Arsenal haven't been great, Liverpool haven't been great. So again, so Liverpool have been great, so there's a lot of stuff that we need to for sure consider when it comes down to it. So it is what it is at the end of the day. So again, you know, he's probably going to be surviving, be lost in his job, but hey ho, we move. But again, guys, that is the video as always. Please make sure to continue to like, share, subscribe. As always, I've been your host, the most of British 258. Dedicate your hearts, and as always, please make sure to stay blue.